Hello, and welcome to the Beast demonstration using Playwright Test Agents, GitHub Copilot, and VS Code. Beast is an accelerator that contains interchangeable components and best practices to get your team up and running quickly with AI test-driven automation. Most of the Beast components are open source and low cost. This allows for maximum team participation and code coverage because more team members can participate in the process. At the top of the diagram, we see several sources that can be used as the requirements for our test plans. This includes Jira, Doors, and Cameo through integrations with the DevSecOps platform or directly. The business analysts can use these requirements to create test plan markdown files that describe the happy path for each test scenario. Next, we see the AI development toolin, which includes IDE such as VS Code and Cursor, and the DevSecOps platform. In this case, we are using GitLab, but this can be any of the major providers such as Azure DevOps or GitHub. The LLMs are also interchangeable and can be local if they are compatible with the Playwright test agents. Both test engineers and business analysts can work on different aspects of the test using these tools. The foundation of Beast is Microsoft Playwright. It's an open-source test framework that is offered at no additional cost. This is the only component that cannot currently be substituted for something else. Various plugins can be integrated with Playwright, such as AxCore, to automate accessibility testing during test executions. Users and stakeholders can view reports using the reportportal.io platform, which is also open source and hosted on premises. It provides predictive analytics so that trouble areas in an application can be identified and rectified before they create issues in production. Here we are in VS Code, and the first thing we will observe is the folder structure. Beast is an accelerator that adheres to best practices and promotes test maintainability, separation of concerns, and maximum reuse. The folder structure has been carefully constructed to meet these goals and easily support future enhancements. Next, we have a test patterns file that contains all the rules and patterns we want the agents to follow when generating our tests. This will make it look as if all test files were created by a single test engineer that writes code consistently across all test files. Next, we look at the seed file. It kicks off the processes that should run at the start of every test. In our case, the authentication process is launched at the start of each test. The auth fixture defines the identity providers that should be used to authenticate the test users. This is a boilerplate file that can be extended to support additional identity providers such as Okta. To start test generation, we will run the seed test to make sure that authentication is working as expected because the agents need to access the web application as an authenticated user. Now we are going to kick off our seed spec test to make sure that the setup of our tests is performed successfully. As we can see, the MFA process of an Office 365 account has been completely automated. The test has been configured to simulate the Authenticator app and provide a successful verification code. This means that a human is not required to log into the application first before automated tests can be scheduled. The process is completely autonomous. Let's take a quick look at the accessibility code file. It is configured to perform an accessibility test against the configured standards on each page of the application during test execution. Now, we have it summarize the total violations and attach the results to the final test report. You can also configure the test to fail if there are violations, but we have relaxed this condition in our setup. We will now look at the Happy Path Markdown file. These instructions can come from a number of sources. In this case, a business analyst produced a video of the happy path and used an AI transcription tool to produce this simple narrative. Let's use the Playwright test agent to create the test plans. We start the process by selecting the Playwright Test Planner in our Copilot chat window. Next, we copy the prompt for the planner task, which includes the instructions to follow when generating the test plan. You can see that the plan must include at least one happy path and multiple edge cases. Next, we hit the play icon to kick off the planner agent. During the task execution, it will ask us to approve certain actions. We will approve all of the actions for this session because we know what it is going to do, but you should review them all during the first run of a new task. When the planner test is finished, it will write out a summary of the tasks it performed. We can look at the plan it created. We can immediately see that there is a lot more test scenarios now because the agent took care of the edge cases and negative scenarios for us. We started with this single happy path, and it created this more in-depth test suite. This is one example of the significant productivity gains that can be achieved with the BEAST Accelerator. Now we take our generator prompt and copy it into the Copilot chat window and select the Playwright Test Generator. The generator prompt contains the rules that the generator agent must follow when creating the actual test files. We set the context to the plans that the planner created and click the play icon. It successfully created the test files and provides us with a summary of the tests that were created. We can see the test files that were created, one for each scenario. When we look at the contents of the test files, we will see that there is problem referencing the page objects because they are not in the SRC directory. The agents cannot write to the SRC directory, so we had the test generator create the page objects in the tests directory. However, because we can script anything in this environment, we created a script that can move the pages from the tests directory to the SRC directory. We execute the utility script using the command line. As we examine the test file some more, we will notice that each step of the test is packaged in a function, which makes the tests highly maintainable and easy to follow. We can now run the tests and resolve any issues that may appear. Lastly, let's take a quick look at the report portal. The tests are streamed over from Playwright in real time. As Report Portal accumulates more test results, its ability to predict areas of concern in your application increases. This can help your team resolve potential issues before they show up in production. Thank you for taking the time to watch our demonstration of BEAST.